Everybody knows about the famous Shea Stadium concert, but maybe not everybody knows that you were one of the people at Shea Stadium who introduced the Beatles with Ed Sullivan that day.
Probably one of the turning points in my career was Shea Stadium and the Beatles. Here was a day that we have in New York, Con Edison, which is our public utility that supplies electric and who knows what else nowadays, you know. And they could have shut down their turbines that day. There were 65,000 plus kids, most of them female, at Shea Stadium that day, waiting to be and share space with our heroes. There was such a cacophony. There was such an amazing amount of people yelling and excitement, enthusiasm. You could have turned off, as I said, the turbines, and that electricity from that Shea Stadium audience would have supplied the energy that day. All right, here we go. The boys are now being brought in by, I think it was an armored car across the infield, and they bring them to the dugout at Shea Stadium. I'm in the dugout. I think Ed Sullivan was behind me somewhere in sort of a corner. He was watching this, not happy. Right? Because it's kind of a very scary thing. The audience at any moment could have exploded. It could have been a disaster. I mean, that's how much energy was flowing from them. But it was positive energy. That's what nobody understood. I got it, but nobody else did. John and Paul come over to me during this crazy time. And he said, Brucie, and John would say, cousin, is this, it's going to be all right? And meanwhile, it's outside, it's bonkers. The poor warm-up acts, which I felt so bad for. Nobody gave a damn about any of them. I mean, nobody even cared about them. They were singing and carrying on. All they wanted was the Beatles. And he said, is this going to be all right? And I said, absolutely. He said, and Paul says to me, Brucie, look at this, listen to this, look at them. Anything can happen. He said, no. I said, very honestly, that's love. You are listening and feeling American love, right? They just want to be here with you. They want to share space. They want to be and share space. So John says, cousin, you sure? And I said, believe me, I know this audience. Meanwhile, I had my fingers in back of me crossed. I was scared stiff. I didn't know what the hell was going to happen. It could have been, could have been disaster.
But everything worked out.
But I said, no, it's going to be okay. It'll be okay. Tony Bennett. We had Tony Bennett come on. And his record, I Lost My Heart. I Left My Heart and lost it in San Francisco, right? And he said to me, I don't want to I can't lip sync. Let me bring a combo. I said, no, I can't afford a combo. He'll pay for it. No, just lip sync. It'll be fine. The audience knows it. You know what to do. And he said, I really am not happy with that. Well, he gets on the stage. Now, this is, a legend, iconic. This is the big one. You don't get them bigger than that. I've had some great acts there, but Tony Bennett comes on, and I'm holding up the album, and everybody's all excited. Tony Bennett's there, and he gets on, and he starts singing, I left my heart in San Francisco, Cisco. The damn record started skipping. Well, I don't have to tell you, he was not a happy puppy. We got it. We made the record, and you hear the record. It goes. We advanced a little bit, get rid of the aberration on the disc. Because in those days, if you played a record too often, you'd hurt the grooves, especially if you had a bad stylus or a needle. Not so long ago, up at Sirius XM, Tony left me a message. I have a picture of him and I at Palisades Park. That's available somewhere. And on the picture, he said, please, Cousin Brucie, never play a record of mine again. I think he still goes on the other side of the street when he sees me walk. He was not happy with me that day.